This video is going to be a walkthrough for basics of Git. We all know that Git is source code management system. We also use this for versioning. Now, first of all, you should have a GitHub account where we could push our code and keep it there. I have a GitHub account right here. I've logged into my account. I'm going to create a new repository. The aim of this video will be creating a repository and pushing the local repository details to the remote repository repository. All right, let's name our repository YouTube. Check. That's going to be the name of the repository. I'm going to make this repository public so that we can view the repository. The good practice would be adding a description of the repository. And then if you require, based on the technology, you will pick a git ignore file and a license file based on the type of project you're going to push. And let's go ahead and create the repository. That will be my remote repository. For the local repository, I have created a folder. Now, ensure the folder is not under a folder which is already a Git repo. Now, that concept would be totally different. We're not getting there. As I said, this would be the basic walkthrough of creating a GitHub repository. Now, you could look at that. I have no repository over here. So this is not a subfolder for any of the repository. Now, to make this as the local repository, all we need to do is say git init. Now, that would do the trick. You can see that it is initialized as a repository. Now, when you add a file, let's go ahead and you can see that it would add a hidden folder with .git. That's going to hold all the details for our Git repository. Now, we're just going to go ahead and create an text document. Let's call this file1.txt. All right. And there we go. So let's write line 1 in file1. Let's save it, close it. Now, I want to push this work into GitHub. Now, already I have logged into my Git repository, so I do not have to log in. But if you're not, then it will prompt you to log into your Git remote repo when you do the push. But initially, first we have to connect our local repository with the remote repository. To do that, the command is git remote add origin. And then we are going to go ahead and give this link. So let's go ahead and copy the HTTP link and provide it here. That's it. So we've connected the local and the remote repo. Let's check it out. To do that, you say git remote and -b. Now that should say that this is the fetch and this is the push. So we have connected our local repository with the remote repository. Now to add the files, you just say git add. To add all the files, just include the -a, which says just add all the files, all the single file in this folder. All right. And then we say git commit. Now here's the trick. You give a message that's mandatory and give a meaningful message. I'm going to call this first commit. Now, if you're committing a module, you could name the module. If you have a particular sprint name or a user story name, you can go ahead and provide that. That would be a meaningful commit. All right. So we have committed it. And now we're going to push our local repo to the remote repo. To do that, you just say git push origin master. There we go. So it's going to push our local repo detail to the remote repo detail. Now, after we finish this, every time when you add a file, we just have to execute git add, git commit, and give a meaningful commit, and then just do the git push. That should do the trick. Let's see if the code is there. Now, there you go. So we have the file. Let's create one more file. Say new and say text document. We'll call this file 2. Now we will do the same step again, but now this time we're just going to say git add and -a. So we'll add all the files and say git commit -m. Now we're going to say file 2 added. And you could, as I said, you could use the name of the module. Now again, use git push origin master. That should do the trick. And once it's pushed, we can see the file 2 in the remote repo. That's pretty much it. You just have to say git init and then git remote add origin for the first time, and then go ahead and just use git add, git commit, and git push all the time. See it here? There we go. We're all set and done.